You blabbed! You blabbed, Kentucky! You blabbed about Mars! Kilty, you're making a big mistake! You got me mixed up with somebody else! You got yourself mixed up with someone else, pal! Hey folks! Kilt-Man here. Kilt-Man at your interstellar cosmic services. How are you all? Hope you're all doing very, very well. Now, the news broke today that many of us suspected for a long, long time that there's water on the planet Mars. The red planet. The warmongering planet. Yeah. NASA have broke the news. Yeah, okay. Back in 2018, what is it called? NASA's Mars Insight lander touched down on the Martian surface. And what this particular device does, it takes seismographic readouts penetrating through the Martian crust right the way down, trying to find out the natural history of Mars itself. And you chart that via where water has been and where water's travelled to. Yes, the arid red planet. There's no life on Mars, although remember about 4 or 5 years ago, maybe a bit longer in fact, we got elements of a Martian, well, meteorite. We retrieved it, and they found there were microbes in there. Bacteria were living in the rock. And I go, okay, it's ancient bacteria, but bacteria lives. It's got to live on something to keep on going. And it can last, you can break open ice particles and find ancient bacteria, which of course is what they did. And that made big news for a while. And then just got forgotten about. Ooh, nothing to see here. Move along now, move along. There's a new Aliens film coming out, so wait for that one instead. So, they've been doing tons of analysis on Mars. You've got the Mars rover, the Mars lander, something else, Martian. Taking pictures and stuff, and we'll talk about those in a bit. But this thing has finally, after, it's 2018, so about 6 years worth of readings through the entire terrain and the subterranean levels of the Martian crust. And it's worked out that through all the fissures, crevices and ancient waterways which crisscross the Martian plateaus, which we've known for a long, long time, water was there and has leaked through. Something obviously caused the water to leak through. It's funny how NASA's now saying that, yeah, there is water there. But they ain't just saying, oh yeah, there is water. Get a load of this. There's enough water in these subterranean reservoirs, right, to cover the entire surface of Mars to the depth of 1 mile. Right, that's a whole lot of fucking water, that. And it's obviously seeped through, and it's liquid water. It's not frozen, it's not ice particles. It is vast reservoirs and underground oceans. That's what they've said. Universities of Berkeley and San Diego and other, learned institutions have all come out and said this. Lots of different people have voiced their opinions, and one guy called Professor Manga, which I thought was quite apt in many ways. Professor Manga said, there's vast reservoirs there. This, it can prove there is life on Mars, probably down there. Life on Mars. Now we're going the official route here. Life on Mars cannot exist on the surface, life as we know it, because it's a vastly ionized, radiation-rife surface. So even microbial organisms can't survive there. That we know of, obviously that we know of, terrestrial versions couldn't live in that environment. So they said any life that is there has to have been driven underground, and it may thrive underground. Or it may just be remnants of life. Again, probably microbiological, but they're down there. So with this promising news, this is what NASA does. Water, vast reservoirs of water, oceans of water on Mars. We can sustain human civilization up there because at some point, this is what they said this morning, I heard it with my own ears. They said at some point, a comet or a meteorite is going to smack, an asteroid is going to smack into the earth and cause devastation. Between you and me and these guys here, I think mankind's going to do it to themselves anyway, but that's just my opinion. So we need to look to our most possible nearest neighbour to migrate to. Oh, Kilty, you're bringing migration back into politics. It's everywhere. Cheers, y'all. And to make good whiskey, you need water. So apparently Mars has got quite a lot of rocks and fissures for the water to run through. Hey, and I'm sure that's going to be good fire water. But they reckon that even with the best of our technology and the way that technology marches onwards, they've already prophesied that it would be a couple of centuries at least, maybe more, before we could actually go up there and utilise this water and drill down deep enough to bring it to the surface, or to, to irrigate colonial estates up there. Now, in northern Russia, there is the deepest man-made drill pit ever, and I have not got the details. I did not write that down in my notes, but go and look it up. It's there, it exists. Now, that is nowhere near to the level of this, because they reckon that this water is, when is it now, 6 to 12 miles deep under the surface of the Martian terrain. 6 to 12 miles. That is 10 to 20 kilometers deep down. Now I know we have the Mariana Trench and we have other deep areas of this planet, and we know that life exists in those areas. Life adapts. Nature just does its own thing. Whatever you throw at it, it'll find a way to, well, okay, you did this, well, I'm going to mutate and evolve and do this, so I'm still going to get round you. Mother Nature is never going to lose. No matter what planet you may be on, it's got a system in place and tons of backup plans, because it's like the Thing. It's up there somewhere. There it is. The Thing can constantly evolve and become something new to adapt to whatever environment that it's in. So with that in mind, and they are saying, because the drip feed of NASA is that, look, we all fucking know there's life out there. We all, and by the way, if you don't believe that, then hey ho. And by the way, Santa Claus ain't real either, but aliens, I think, are. Well, there's one sitting there. Old Mr. Big Ears, Big Brain here. And you've got Mr. Kentucky Fudge doing his best Total Recall impersonation there. He's got the bug up his nose, but you and I know that if you've got a big red nostril, you've got a fucking big spot on your nose, and it also means that, oh no, I'm going to get an invite to a party that I have to go to, and I'm going to have to be seen there with this Rudolph. See, I brought Santa Claus and Rudolph into this. See, everything's connected. Everything is connected. It's all circles, crop circles. But, so they're saying, like, life could exist down there, but we're never going to get to it in our lifetime. So we're never going to know, us lot. Well, some of us believe they already do know, but I've never made any secrets about the fact I believe in aliens. Of course I do. And it's not like, oh aliens, oh yeah, little green men from Mars, usually. In the vast, infinite expanse of the universe, and we don't know where the universe ends, so let's not go down this road. It's infinite, but mankind has no comprehension of what infinite really means. And infinite now, with quantum physics, is multiple universes, that way, that way, that way, that way, that way, that way, and backwards and forwards and upside down and up your arse and wazoo and back again. Infinite varieties of infinite universes. So in all of that, it's just us. Yeah. Suck mine, Suck my Sputnik, Cheers, y'all. Now, it's funny how they make this big news and exciting news and then give it the caveat that, by the way, we're not going to find anything else for a good couple of centuries, so we're not going to drill down to it. So we're going to colonize Mars, which is the intention. Some would say we're already there, but you know, hey ho, the dark side of the moon. China was there, and suddenly China's little rover didn't begin to deliver enough information about what was really there. Funny that, isn't it? Funny that, isn't it? Yeah. The dark side of the moon, the bit that, because of our orbits, that quadrant, that arc of the moon, will never be seen from Earth by telescopes or anything at all. You've got to put satellites around it. And then they don't ever transmit anything back from the dark side of the moon. Ooh, questions? Yes. Multiple questions. But NASA won't answer any of them. NASA, never a straight answer. NASA just gives what it... Look, there's vast oceans on Mars, and if we could just plumb down into it and bring it to the surface again, it may, like Total Recall, it may oxygenate the planet. Or at least it'll be an endless water sustenance for colonists who could be there. That's what they say. That's what they have said this morning, in fact. It was a long time off. I said Russia has the record for the deepest man-made drilling pit in mankind's history. But China intend to beat that. And I'm not sure what they're trying to achieve with it, where they're going with it. But they've said, no, we're gonna do deeper than that. Now, maybe that's because of what they know is on Mars. I don't know. I don't know what the real reason is why you'd be plumbing to the depths, the core of the Earth. Again, any of this sort of research is vastly important because it gives the geological history of a planet. This is why they did it for Mars. This is the official reason they did it for Mars. All these irrigation systems and crevices and fissures and clearly now dry riverbeds. The water went somewhere. Well, where did it go? Was it evaporated? Well, now they're saying, no, it didn't get evaporated. It is down below and it can cover the entire... It's weird, I'm looking at the ring light around, it's behind you guys, the ring light behind the camera, and it's like Mars, and the water would be that exact perfect circle, filling the surface of the planet to a depth of a mile. Now, the thing about that is, you need an atmosphere to keep water coming back in again. We need the clouds, we need the sunlight, we need rainfall to keep water going. You could, on a dead planet, you might find a vast reservoir. This is the non-scientist speaking here, but to my way of thinking, you've got this fantastic reservoir of life-giving juice. But if we all went there, that'd be gone within, well, I don't know, a couple of years. Especially if it's used in the production of whiskey. In this case, if I'm there, well, we're doomed. It's over. It's over before we even get started. So you've got to sustain it. Now, Total Recall, which you're hearing Jerry Goldsmith's fucking fabulous score for Paul Verhoeven's awesome version of We Can Remember It For You Wholesale, of course. Philip K. Dick original story, made as Total Recall. A vastly different story, by the way, but a classic of sci-fi cinema. And what was the point of that? We won't go into all the spies and the fact that maybe Quaid, Arnie Schwarzenegger, actually is being lobotomized and the whole thing is a fantasy. I've covered the film before in depth, so go back and look at that stuff. But they know in the actual Martian adventure, yeah, there are vast frozen reservoirs of water, and once you plunge the big device into it, and you've got to do the Vulcan thing like that to fit the alien handprint on the device to trigger it. The big secret of Mars. Mars can give life, but you've got Ronnie Cox as what's his name? Cohagen, the harsh, tyrannical dictator. And he's created mutants on Mars who are starved of oxygen. But the whole crux of the story is that, yeah, Martians exist, civilization was there, and you can bring oxygen to this planet. And they do it very quickly. And these big devices come down. Gas explodes through fissures and blows the upper crust to bits. But it brings oxygen and blue skies. And it does it in a matter of, well, I think 90 seconds. But it's great, and the theory is there. So this idea that there's water deep below the surface of Mars, life-giving water, has been done in movies way before. But of course, sci-fi authors and sci-fi filmmakers have always conjectured and speculated about this sort of thing. Understandably, of course. And then you get, the fantastical versions. Like you have the great Robinson Crusoe on Mars, Byron Haskins' great 60s movie. I love that movie. I think it's fantastic. But and it used the scientific data and knowledge of engineering and rocketry at the time. So it was cutting edge, but it had the wrong ideas. Well, I say wrong ideas about what Mars is really like. And I do urge you to look at it. I think I've reviewed it. I know I reviewed it for AB Forums in depth. I don't know if I've done it on this channel. If I haven't done it on this channel, I'm extremely remiss because it's a fabulous sci-fi movie. And of course, it's based on Robinson Crusoe, but Robinson Crusoe on Mars, But then you've had the things like Ridley Scott's The Martian. Well, let's science the shit out of this, says Matt Damon. And I quite like the movie. It's purely, it is science-based-ish. It's Ridley Scott, remember. Ridley Scott, like NASA. Look, Napoleon didn't fire any cannonballs at the pyramids. Well, how would you fucking know? Were you there? You weren't there, so fuck off. And that's Ridley Scott, an Oscar-winning, highly accoladed director. And that's his arrogant attitude. So with The Martian, well, have you been on Mars? No, you haven't, have you? So what do you know about Mars? Nothing. I'm sure he spoke to a few people that have been on Mars. Aye. Martian aye. Now, akin with this is the long-time notion and belief that they're lying extensively about what's on the surface of Mars. I know a lot of you are going like, oh, shut up, Kilt-Man, shut up. It's not true. Well, okay, maybe it isn't, but the evidence is put before you. And I will put the link below to a certain channel on YouTube who I think does a spectacular job. He's called The Real Jimmy Roberts, and he's Texan, but he knows his stuff. And they take all the obfuscated NASA pictures of what they're showing you from the Mars landers all the time. From Mastcam 1, Mastcam 2. That's a robot, it's got masts with cameras on it, but it has other cameras as well. And it doesn't move very far, but it takes enormous amounts of pictures of that speck of rocks there, that horizon, that butte, that valley, that something. But when you see them, when you go on NASA's site, when you go and you look at these pictures, and they show them on like the news, it's something, oh wow, look at this, and they did it for a while on mainstream. It's clearly airbrushed and obfuscated. They've digitized out bits. This is famously well known. There is a great photo of a NASA analyst. They took like a team photo of them at their desks, but the dickheads forgot to, oh the irony, they didn't obfuscate the scattering of pictures on the desk that the girl is sitting at, because you can see all the alien supposed Martian artifacts that are there, which on all the actual photos when they came out were just airbrushed or discoloured, and blurred, so you couldn't see what was there. I'm not making this up. I know it sounds preposterous, but look, I've watched a lot of this stuff for many, many years, and I don't believe anything that the authorities, the institutions tell us. I've got my own beliefs as to why they don't, and they could be vast and varied. But this picture, it clearly shows. But again, you've got to think, well, they still allowed that picture to come out. Did they not look at that? So was that just like to fuel, all of this sort of, the believers, like, oh, NASA's lying and all this. Was it just to do that? Is it fake news upon fake news to hide the real truth? Is it that sort of thing? Propaganda works in a vast number of mysterious ways, and it's not your friend, but it can be used by anyone for any means necessary. And we're seeing it all the time with mainstream media. Well, I won't go into the UK at the moment and what's happening and how sudden, I don't know how they were orchestrated, but they seem very orchestrated riots, and not by who they're blaming. They stoked up something and riots ensued. We've gone from Mars back to the real hell that is Earth, and Earth's society of humans who just don't get along, basically. Never will. Doesn't matter what distant planet we go to, and you can put a whole hodgepodge of different cultures together. Mankind, humans, are tribal, and at some point it'll all spark off again. We don't reach that point of, like the Krell in Forbidden Planet. They reach this, they're benign, but they've got a subconscious, and their technology reaches such a point where their subconscious, the mass subconscious, takes over, and all the monster of the id, the inner mind, becomes a genuine monster, and they all kill each other in one night of barbarity because their own innermost hates, fears, and rages, and resentments and bigotry takes over. And that's us. That's what mankind does. But so you have all this propaganda which takes place, and let's just finish the bit on the riots off anyway. It's funny how new laws are going to be ushered into the UK very quickly about freedom of speech and social media. Yeah, that played right into your hands, didn't it? There's other videos on that, but hey, would I be allowed to do them? Probably not. So, use your mind, think, open your... Again, it's Total Recall. Got Kwatu, yeah. Open your mind. And he gets shot as well. Poor Verhoeven. That great Dutchman who gave us Robocop. Oh Christ, what else? What's the Rutger Hauer one? The Sword and Sorcery one. I forgot what it's called. But so much. Starship Troopers as well, like Paul Verhoeven. Basic Instinct as well, like fantastic filmmaker, and didn't flinch from anything, and knew the shit that was taking place politically, but he didn't shy away from the graphic violence and made his films super entertaining. What's the one with Rutger Hauer? The medieval one? Flesh and Blood with oh god, that fit young girl. I forgot her name now as well. So, back to getting our ass to Mars. Yeah, well, we need to. We're told we need to do it because we're told the environment of the planet's going to fucking collapse anyway. I think we're speeding it along, certainly with scaremongering. I don't know if you've noticed, but in the UK, if you're in the UK, we've had exceptionally hot weather. But we do get exceptionally hot weather every few years during summertime, because it's called summertime. Just because we have, it rains all the time in Britain. Yeah, well, it does a lot, yeah. But when I grew up in the 70s, we had fucking super long hot summers, really blisteringly hot, and for days, weeks on end. Then it kind of died down a bit. And what happens now, and I'm not wrong because I've lived here, I know. I've been through all this and I remember it, and I watch the news and watch the weather forecasts, and I'm like, well, hang on, that's not really what happened. But in the last sort of couple of decades, really, we've had fractured summers. You get like in sort of April, May, really warm, nice weather, sunshine a lot of the day. Then you get the rains, the April showers. And then you get June, July, August, which should be, that's your official summertime in the UK. And it's been pissing down, and we've had the odd day of great sunshine, and then it's wind and rain the next day. And then you get the Indian summer. Now, I've talked about the Indian summer, what its real definition really means, but to all intents and purposes for this, it means getting a summertime later in the year, so that the autumn time gets transformed, Mother Nature evolving it into a new summer. And you get that, and you get hot weather, and you get days of unbroken sunshine. And then you get the last couple of years, we hit 40 degrees. Was it last year? I think it was last year. First time in UK records, since records began, 40 degrees. And we hit it a couple of times. And this year, we haven't hit 40. Actually, I'm telling a lie, I think we did hit 40 in London yesterday, or was it the day before? But I could be wrong about that. But we've certainly been in the mid-30s around a lot of the southern and central areas of England, Scotland, Wales, and here in the northwest of England. We didn't get that, but we were 25 to 28 degrees. It was 28 degrees yesterday when I was sitting outside the pub, and that was 28 degrees. Now that's glorious sunshine and glorious heat and warmth, which we regularly we migrate en masse for our holidays, to other countries where it's hot. But now we're getting told that you don't go out there because it's too hot and we're dying. Again, UK-based news, lots of UK people are going for hikes in mountains who are too old, too unprepared, and the heat knocks them out and then kills them. And it's happening with monotonous regularity now. Funny how things happen in trends. Think about that. Has that always happened? Maybe it has. But now it's getting reported on all the time. There's always someone going missing. But there's loads at the moment, so don't just take my word for it. Go look, because they don't always report these things, or it's just like a floating headline underneath, and in other news, the 65-year-old doctor's gone missing in the Pyrenees, which actually there has been, and they've called off the search for him. But anyway, so heat and temperatures fluctuate on the Earth anyway. The Earth moves through cycles. We have a cold phase, which will kill us all. We've had an ice age before, and it'll happen again. We'll go. The Earth moves through these cycles. It has its own inner cycle and momentum, probably governed by massive celestial forces and gravity and radiation and stuff. But it'll happen again. Maybe for another millennia. But so suddenly we're getting hotter summer. Like this last 2-3 weeks in the UK has been really hot, unbroken sunshine for here certainly, and lovely. Yesterday, on the video I was doing yesterday, ironically, it was dead dark and overcast, but the humidity was immense. And then throughout the course of the video that I was doing, the sun came out again, and wow, and it literally supernovaed out half the screen that I was filming on, and yeah, it was blistering from that point onwards. I know, because I was out on it. And today it is actually overcast and it rained, and someone did say, we got massive tempests and rainfall Western Scotland. Well that's not exactly unusual, but yeah, I know you did. And weirdly, we've had rain this morning. It was like just the clouds just slightly sweating, but it is forecast for, it is now, looking at the clock now, it's now 1:15 in the afternoon, and from 2 o'clock, so in 45 minutes onwards, it's meant to rain when I'm out with the dog. Now I don't mind that, because I want the dog to cool down a little bit, because it's been nightmarish for a husky in this kind of heat. and humidity. So that'll be a good thing. But so what I'm saying is, like, you get this, the weather, we've got weather fronts that are moving in. It's just the weather. But what are we doing in the UK? We're issuing weather warnings, amber alerts, and like, oh, what the? It's just the fucking weather. It's a process of getting you used to being frightened. They did it with COVID. They did it with the emergency alarm. So I keep doing this, don't I? The emergency alarm, which your phone will ping off with, and they're going to tell you where to go in the event of an emergency, and everyone's going to be told. Again, well, I've discussed that previously, but why are you giving weather alerts? Look, if there's going to be a massive fucking tsunami, there's going to be a hurricane hitting us. Yeah, but just the weather. Oh, it's going to be hot today, so danger of death because of the heat. You don't fucking need to be told that. Your body tells you that. I'm sweating. I feel a bit disorientated. You know, I'll drink some water. Glug, 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 glug. And I'll sit in the shade. What do you think? We're fucking stupid. They have to. They feel, well, they don't feel obliged to. They are simply scaremongering all of us. Well, that's the political status of the UK and Earth and mankind. Let's switch back to Mars. Mars is our dream boat, isn't it? It's the place we, you know, one of our nearest neighbours, and it's smaller than the Earth, but it's angry. It's the angry red planet. It's always been foretold as, you know, doom monger, the bringer of war. Holst did that. Mars, bringer of war. But we've always looked to Mars for, like, that's where, well, if any enemy is going to come from Victorian age onwards, you know, it's going to be from Mars. It's not coming from Venus or Neptune, you know. And again, in these, they're finding out more about Venus and Neptune, aren't they? That there actually is pockets of, this is what they say, you know, of gas which can be part of the life cycle, you know, in the most inhospitable of areas. Well, life exists regardless. I believe that. But just a little tiny microbe, it's life. And if you're in Prometheus, Ridley Scott, again, name dropping you, Sir Ridley Scott, you know, you've got your geologists and your biologists, and then suddenly a little snake head alien thing comes up. After you telling the other guy, don't touch it, don't touch anything. No, because you know what, it could be bacteriological, it could be poisonous, don't touch anything. And then this thing comes up and he goes, hello. The very guy that advised the other one, hello. And what happens to him? Yeah, well, yeah, obviously, nothing good. Science. Scientists in movies. I love this because you guys know my fascination for The Thing from Another World, and of course, John Carpenter's The Thing. But primarily in The Thing, the 1951 version from Christian Nyby and Howard Hawks, it pits the military, the American Air Force, against the scientific brigade who want to save this blood-drinking, fucking 8-foot-tall Boris Karloff, Frankenstein's monster-style alien beastie, killing everyone in sight and laying waste to this North Pole, this Arctic research centre. But the military's, let's just fucking kill it, which of course they do. But they're at loggerheads with the scientific brigade. In John Carpenter's The Thing, it's not quite as clear cut as that. People always forget this, that the Outpost 31 in Antarctica, they moved to the other side, the arsehole of the Earth, basically, for their version, which is based on the original John W. Campbell novella, Who Goes There? I know, you know all this. I know you know all this, but it's a military base. It's genuinely a military base. And a lot of those guys, it's not said properly. If you watch the TV version, it gives a little biography of each character. Fuck that off. That's not exactly right either. But it was just done for the network. And because there was too many characters, and people thought they're all indivisible. They've all got beards, and they're all wearing parkas and stuff. You can't bullshit. The Thing is one of the best ensemble casts you're ever going to see, and every single person has their own personality and traits and characteristics, and it really works. And they're all memorable. But it is military primarily, and a lot of the scientists who are there are prior. They've been contracted by the military, so they're military minded as well. And you've got, well, R.J. McCready, King Kurt himself is a Vietnam veteran helicopter pilot, you know, and he's seen a lot of shit, like, and he just wants to be. He hates humanity because, and that's the irony, of course. He's trying to save humanity, but he just drinks, well, J&B. I've still got my bottle of J&B in the front room. I only use that in emergencies. Cheating bitch. So the military is pitched against the scientific brigade, but it's more subtle. Like the film itself, its tendrils sort of, you know, wrap and infiltrate behind the scenes. But it's there in his version, but it's not quite as overt as in the 1951 version. My point, folks, is that the scientific lobby tell us what they want us to know, or what they're told they can tell us. Because you have politics. And the military, by the way, has no bearing in this. The military, a lot of talk about the riots in the UK. When are they going to bring in martial law? When are they going to bring in the army? Well, you've got to formally ask the military to step in and take over police duties on the streets. The troubles in Northern Ireland, it's been done extensively, of course. And it has happened in the UK. It has happened in the UK, albeit with massively limited capacity. We'll drive ambulances for you. We'll do road blockades. We'll help you with this, but it's not been like, you know, warning shots in the air and then into the crowd. And the military, historically, in every country in the world, the military does not back the government. Check it out. It doesn't. And that's how coups are formed. Coups. Coups, military coups take over when they're brought in, but the military side with the people. And of course, governments are absolutely terrified of that taking place, because it can, and they're the ones with the guns, you know? So, but scaremongering, amber alerts for weather. It's going to be hot. You could die in the heat. It just propagates this narrative of keep everybody down to, you're afraid. Listen to us, because we're going to tell you when things are bad. And when things are good, you can watch Strictly Come Dancing, yay, which is one of the most corrupt TV shows ever, as has now been proved, with massive bullying and really nasty stuff coming out about that. So all the institutes that get set up, the BBC, I don't need to say any more. Hugh Edwards, anyone? Jimmy Savile, and many more. And your Cliff Richard, oh, you went for him, done nothing wrong. Oh my God. Princess Diana, oh dear God. And the government still expect us to pay a licence fee to the BBC for the shit that they put out, the lies. I don't know. Mars is looking a far more preferable place to be. There's a reason why you see me drink all this. And the intelligence amongst you will work that out. So, you know, Kilt-Man and his little rants doesn't really matter. He's not really saying anything that's going to go against the state, even though he's worked for it. I've always said, you know, you should never go to the grave with regret the things you've done. Don't regret the things you haven't done. Because the point is, you should have done everything. So if you, I regret I didn't do that, then that's on you. You should have tried it. Oh, I didn't skydive. I didn't, you know, deep sea dive. I didn't do this. I didn't swim with sharks. You shouldn't have those regrets, because that means you didn't do it. You didn't drive yourself to do that in life. But the things that you have done, they're the things you can legitimately regret. I should never have done this. Well, I know I should never have kept on working for the government as long as I did. I hate and loathe them in every capacity. The military side, but I don't regret any of that at all. Although governmental policies and agendas were put into place. But you just follow orders, don't you? Yes, you do. And there's the irony. When they bring you into a civilian scenario, that's when things change. You don't want to do it. You don't want to do it. Because it can turn very quickly. But what do I know? I just sit here and talk about movies and drink whiskey all the time. So I know nothing. Nothing. I believe in aliens. So no one's going to listen to me, are they? It's cold tea, really. No, it ain't. No, it ain't. You guys know it ain't. But back to Mars. Look, you look at Jimmy Roberts, the real Jimmy Roberts. You look at his videos. He shows all the imagery which they show, the official photographs, and they go through their technology. They go through the veneer where NASA's clearly airbrushed over or blurred imagery, and they've used stereoscopic 3D to get around these objects, and for multiple, and literally there's thousands and thousands of photos taken all the time of the same thing. And you're seeing well, he'll tell you, I'm not going to do his job for him. But you're seeing debris fields there's machinery, there's right angles, there's wires, there is rivets and things. That's not rocks. It's not rocks. It isn't. I'm not talking Sidonian and faces. I'm not talking about, you know, what's that word? I always forget the word. When you look at something and just because you can, it looks like this to me. But it isn't. It's just a formation. But what he does, he gets all the camera imagery. So he goes around an object from every angle and highlights it. And no, there's no two mistaken. There's no two mistaken. There's no two ways about it. There's pipes, there's steel, there's constructions, there's concrete. There's concrete with iron sort of the wires running through it, which is concrete normally to build a structure. You've got that in place. Yes, it's a blighted civilization. If it was there, and I'm inclined to believe it was, boom, it's gone. Something Krell style, Forbidden Planet style has taken place. But you've got huge debris piles, which they're not rocks. Watch his channel. I don't have the tech to do this, or the time to go laboriously through all NASA's photos. They release so many photos all the time, but they don't come direct to you. They have to be vetted and doctored before you see them. So, you know, there's my two penneth on the Martian Chronicles. Would I go to Mars? Fuck yeah. Yeah, I would. So long as there's a copious supply of this, and I want some firepower, even though I don't believe there's anything remotely nasty going to come at me, apart from other human beings who are like, you know, you blabbed about Mars, Kilty, you blabbed about Mars. Oh dear God, it's ridiculous, isn't it? A lot of people say the movies do tell you the truth. Well, you know, look at Stanley Kubrick and The Shining. He knew a lot. Did old Kubrick, you know, the Cube. And now there's vast oceans on Mars, you know. You sent them there, Beck. You sent them there, you know. It was a bad call, Ripley. It was a bad call. It was a bad call. These people are drowning in Martian oceans. You sent them there in paragliders and parachutes, and they dropped, thinking it was going to be just bedrock. No, it was an ocean. Swallowed them up. The thing is, if mankind does survive, and that's up for debate. It really is. It really is. We don't get along. We don't get along. If mankind does survive without some kind of alien intervention, the day the air stood still style. Again, check that out. And we get coerced into a new sort of, look, your religions, fuck your religions off, because you're all wrong. You're all wrong. You are an organism, and whether you believe, oh, we were planted here and it was again, Ridley Scott and Prometheus and the engineers, oh dear God, but dear God, oh the irony. I do believe that mankind is an aberration on this planet. I do. We don't fit in with nature at all. We wage war. Oh, but Kilt-Man, ants wage war. Ants do wage war for territory, primarily. But the only other creature that forms armies, battalions, and a real hierarchy to wage war against another species and against themselves, another bunch of ants. Sure, there's a proper technical term for that, and they'll wage war and they'll fight, you know, a tooth and nail, literally tooth and nail, and but nothing else will do that. You have, a private lions will protect their territory. Monkeys and apes will protect their territory. Wolves, everything protects its territory, but it doesn't form a religion, an ideology, and then go and assimilate or try and take over somewhere else. I talked about magpies and cuckoos who, you know, obviously the cuckoo in the nest is not a good thing, but magpies take over other nests and steal eggs and stuff like. So there's pockets of that in nature, but man with his civilization and society, what? We haven't. Oh, we created the arts, Kilty. That's what we did. Symphonies, opera, movies. And you look at movies and opera, it tells stories of man's depravity against man. Hey, look, I'm not knocking this, because I look around me. Look at what my videos. They're about movies where people die. These characters get killed, and it's exciting because that's what we are. Don't deny it. It's pointless to deny it. We are warmongers. Go back to the dawn of mankind, and you've got, oh yeah, I've got this thing between my legs which just rises when I see a prehistoric bison, because I haven't seen a woman yet. Oh, there's a woman. You're built differently. You're smaller than the bison. I can do whatever I do to you, you'll feel where the bison didn't. And so man meets woman. I know, just go with it. There is a point to it. So you get your missus. You may have dragged her by the hair, or in my case, it'd be me being dragged by the hair, and which happens every day, to be honest. I'm surprised I'm not bald, but you have your cave, and then you have a couple of kids. Well, you formed a little tribe, a family, but it's a tribe in essence. And then suddenly someone else has done the same thing, but 20 miles that way, and then moves into a cave just over the way from you, because you've got river there, water source, and there's food. Water, animals. You drink water, animals drink water. You can kill animal to eat meat and make clothing. You know, sorry, I'm speaking in Neanderthal there. And but these other people have moved in. You're like, oh fuck you! Hang on, this is my patch of land. Then you form enemies, you fight, but over time you may join forces with them because they've got their ranks have swelled, and you've like, okay, I'm bow down to you now. Tribes. Mankind is tribal, and it's fundamental and DNA roots. Mankind is tribal. It is not altruistic. It's not, oh, we pretend, we have a facade of being altruistic, and you know, well, charity is set up for this, that and the other. When it comes down to it, when it genuinely comes down to it, mankind is in it for himself and, to coin cliffhanger, his bitch. You know, when a man puts money before himself and his bitch, you know, or is it his bitch before himself and money, whatever it is, like, but you know the bit I mean. But we do that. Society dictates that you have a family, that you work more hours of the day than you can relax. For what? For what? And you work a 5-day, I'm generalising, a 5-day week. You're going to work most of the week you're working. And then you got to, and you can enjoy this time. But the way it's going now, in your free time, you can't do this, that, and don't do any of the other. That's for certain. Don't do any of the other. You can hear husky claws scratching across the floorboards there. I love bare floorboards. I think it makes the Kilt Mansion feel like a mansion, and also like a ghostly galleon where you can hear the creaking of the floorboards. It's great. I love it. But mankind is not built to get along with its brother or sister or its non-binary variation. So we go out to Mars and we colonize Mars. The same shit's gonna happen all over again, because it's in us. We all, authors, sci-fi filmmakers, who aren't just using monsters and creature features, which, you know, I love them most of all, but when they're trying to tell really sort of deep, cerebral, intellectual stories about how man can evolve, it's going to take some intervention again to make us really look. Because again, on Mars, if we get out there, if we're not already there, and fighting like what's it called? Oh god, the submarine thing. And they go to the North Pole, the Russians and the Americans. Oh dear God, 1960s. Rock Hudson's in it as well. Oh Jesus Christ, I forgot it. You know, just ignore that. We get out there and you form a community on your domes. At some point, there's going to be a society will form, and there'll be rifts within that society. Ice Station Zebra, or for you guys in America, Ice Station Zebra. That's the film. You will form factions. Unions will take charge of the workers. Someone will be a dictator and stamp authority over a certain enclave, who will then hate the other enclave, and that's the nature of man. So in a weird way, and I did not expect to go down this road, I just wanted to do a quick video about there's vast oceans on Mars. And I've had a bit of a laugh and joke about like, well, I think we already knew that, didn't we? I always thought that was true. When it come up today, I was like, oh, well, this is news. I thought we always knew that. I thought we always knew if we cut down, but there was going to be oceans. Or was I just thinking of Total Recall again? But I didn't expect to go down this road. But I think inevitably you're drawn down this, because if you look at us, all of us, we ain't right. And I speak predominantly for myself, of course. I know I'm not right, but I'm not alone. So all this shit is going to take place again. We're going to go to other planets and we're going to do this. You know, Starfleet and the Federation, Star Trek, Gene Roddenberry's dream of multicultural space flight, and we can voyage to new worlds where no one has gone before and make friends. Well, watch Star Trek. It didn't make a lot of friends, did they? A lot of shit took place. Deaths took place. If you wore a red jersey, you were doomed, you know. So there was a class system as well. It was almost like a Roman caste system. I don't think we haven't got a chance. I think we either evolve into something else or we're doomed. And I think I alluded to we are a failed experiment, a Ridley Scott style engineer black goo experiment. Ridley Scott just took it from many other people, like, so don't go thinking that wow, Ridley, you were forward thinking, weren't you? No, Ridley's not forward thinking. But we do seem to be an aberration on the planet. And for us, with our hang-ups and tribalisms, to travel elsewhere in the universe, we're a bad thing. I think we're a bad thing. I really do. But Jerry Goldsmith's score for Total Recall, folks. I'm going to turn it up. I'm going to crank it up. No special effects spared. I will go to the nth degree for you guys. And stick it up your nose. He's like, I love this. I love Total Recall, but as if, you know, your face after going out into the pre, you know, Martian atmosphere, where it's becoming air atmosphere, and your face is going, your tongue has gone like, your eyes are bugging out your head. Suddenly, oh, you got atmosphere. Well, all your bits aren't going to go back in, are they? You know, you'd be like, I can breathe, but they still love me, Melina. And she's like, as well. Because it's all a dream. He's been lobotomized. I want to play the main theme again. Oh God! Why do these buttons? Oh no! Here, let's play this. In fact, yeah, let's play this because this is beautiful. This theme. Well, folks, I hope you've stuck with this. I get around talking about the truth and my real feelings by dressing it up, by getting pissed. many a precedent for that. Revolutions were born in caves, in barns, in warehouses, in taverns, in pubs. The hologram, this is great. Welcome to the party, Richter! So you've got to comment below, you've got to let me know. I've covered a lot of shit today, I really did. I didn't expect to. It was just about, there's water on Mars. Really? Really? Is that a revelation? It's a revelation that they're doing it, but you know, to coin a phrase, you know, no pun intended, there's water on Mars and now they're drip feeding us this information. They know exactly what's there. The whole thing's orchestrated. Is it, are we driving ourselves towards a supposed Armageddon on air? To only take out, rescue a certain few? Abort, Earth, abort! Experiment, failure! Oh, leave them to themselves, you know, just let them eat themselves. We're going to bug out. All those with power, the elite, we're off to Mars. With Matt Damon. What's her face from Speed, who survived gravity as well. Gravity was great, but you got to watch it in 3D. It loses a lot of impact when you watch it in just 2D. Because it was made for 3D, and it's to put you in that really thrilling environment, and it works as well. Sorry, I'm just listening to the music. I have a dog walk to do, and I'm looking out the window right now, and yeah, it's not looking too brilliant. Windy, it's overcast, it's still fucking humid. I keep saying this, the humidity is the thing that kills you. American troops serving for a tour of a year, 12 months in Vietnam. Nasty as fuck. I did jungle training in Brunei, and yeah, you've got like a combat a combat stratagem, and you've got to be alert all the time. And sweat's just in your face, just like you're dehydrated as hell all the time. Some people thrive on it as well. A couple of mates loved it. It was great. They were like, really, what's wrong with you? And you're like, and you're trying to rehydrate all the time, but sometimes you can't because you can't. And you've got to be very, very hyper alert. And yet you're not, but your adrenaline kicks in, so you will get through moments. It's downtime. You can survive for a long time on adrenaline, but it's the downtime. When the downtime hits you, and especially in heat, it happens in any environment, but especially with heat, I've found you're zapped. And like, we're going to move again. I can't. In cold weather, you can move. You can get up and you'll fucking move because movement heats you up. But in that kind of humidity, jungle, you're like, oh God, just to pick up your stuff and to get me. There could be bullets flying at you, but you're still going to find after a while, I can't. People have sat down and been, well, they've been picked off, and people do that. And I get it, because you're not thinking straight. some people really attune to it, and some people don't. And this is going for the reactors in Total Recall. Total Recall is fucking awesome. It really is, and it definitely ties in with all that we've been speaking about. Mars, water, life on Mars, genuine Martians, and dictatorial, tyrannical bastards ruling the world. And it happens on Earth, and it will happen on Mars. Total Recall fucking does it all. You know, you've got to take it out your nose. You've got to shove that fucking thing up your hooter and you can drag it out. And then, you know, I'm sure in the Kilt Mansion there's a rat running around somewhere. And when Michael Ironside comes, the great Michael Ironside, Canadian actor, Scanners. Oh my God. Like Revok, Daryl Revok. No. Extreme Prejudice as well. Oh, and so many other movies, of course. Jerry Goldsmith's music, isn't it extraordinary? He always explored electronic sounds, synthesized sounds. Logan's Run, oh God, and Going On, and Runaway with Tom Selleck, and many other movies, of course. You come into like Poltergeist 2, Poltergeist itself, but he worked really well with electronics. He loved it, and I think his best combination of symphonics and electronics is Total Recall. I'm looking over there, like you're thinking I'm watching the movie. I'm not. It's just a blank screen with the credits of the track just floating around on a screensaver. Folks, you've got to let me know what you think about this. You may disagree with me entirely. That's fine. You know, debate is legal, you know. And if anything I say offends you, I'm sorry, but I don't care. You know, just because you're offended doesn't make you right. You know. Although laws are going to swiftly change to make sure that if you're offended, and your offence is again agreeing with the political agenda, then the one that offended thee will be demonized and sent to Mars, hopefully. Set me up. When the fucking police chopper's over here, I've told you before, the police chopper circles around at the back of the Kilt Mansion. I mean, our garden goes back and back and back some more, and then at the cemetery. And people who steal vehicles, there's a long-standing trend of doing this. They drive them into the cemetery and like burn the car up. They don't always burn the car up, but they drive them in there. Or they run in there and hide behind tombstones. It's a fucking big cemetery. So the police helicopter's out and it's got its fucking Close Encounters beam coming down. And it's been in our back garden, our massively right into the conservatory and the patio back garden. And I've gone out at like 3 in the morning and I stood there, bolloco. And I'm like, oh, beat me up. Oh. You cops. Oh, fuck off then. And then I thought, hang on a second, there could be a knife-wielding maniac who's been going over people's walls and come out from the cemetery. And then I'm like, I'm nude, but I'm angry. You won't win, regardless. Total Recall is an awesome movie. I think this video is outstayed its welcome, if I'm honest. But hey ho. There's always more to say, especially from these lips. Just wait to see what comes on next. It's not giving me the track listing. Because we want to hear The Dream again. Oh, here's the fucking CD as well. What track are we on? Oh, this is A New Life. Well, we're ending quite pleasantly, aren't we? Mars. Great chocolate. Although they've shrunk Mars bars down as well. Is that foretelling of our lifestyles shrunken down, our freedom of speech shrunken down? Mars is the only avenue to explore now. But I've said it to you folks, I love the Kilted clan, we're all great mates. A lot of you have spoken together as well, which I love that. I want the union, I want us to be together. But I also know, regardless of how great we all are as a force, and a camaraderie, that our species doesn't do this very often. And when they do, they form factions and they fight against each other and they commit the worst things. We're not a race to do this. We're a race of, get on this, tribalistic individuals. Individuals come out and like, become something. The tribal leaders, the chieftains, doesn't mean they're right. It just means that people are like, oh, well, I can't think of an opinion myself, so I'll go along with that. And also, he's bigger and he's got more blades, and I'm going back to primitive times. I forgot about this track. Although it's worth it though. This is one of the commercials for, the Total Recall in the film. The little jingles. My husky just sneezed. Verhoeven was brilliant, by putting that in there. That's Verhoeven and Goldsmith. For the memory of a lifetime, recall, recall, recall. As in their company. Right, well let's fucking do it. Let's do the opening track. If you don't play properly now, I'll go ballistic. I'm gonna turn it up. Let's crank this motherfucker up. That power digger thing he has. Conan the Barbarian. It is there, it is. homage from Goldsmith to Basil Polidorus, who composed Conan the Barbarian for Arnie. A full orchestra, and you've got synth and electronica as well, and it's the wedded bliss of that combination. It's muscular, it does speak of sci-fi. Because of the electronica, it's not medieval, it's not World War II, it's not Vietnam. It's not like an 80s urban thriller a la Lethal Weapon, you know. It does speak otherworldly. And then you get this. Swoony swoon. But you need that. Because then you come back and say, fuck you. Fuck you. I want to burst that. Shower me. Here we go. This is lovely as well. The way it segues into this beatific, euphoric, almost rhapsodic moment. I really applaud people that stick around for all this claptrap. For that is all it is. Oh, I'm sorry, you just witnessed what my wife sees none too frequently these days at the moment of high extremity. I don't give a fuck, by the way, and nor should you. Nor should you. Don't be told what to do. You watch the news. Look behind the news. Google the things that are being reported upon and look at other news channels. Don't just stick with what they officially tell you, which they do officially tell you. Whatever country you're in, look at other people's reporting of the same events. And somewhere between all of that, you'll get something nearer the truth. Everything is polar, everything is extreme. You have to use your own integrity and your own mind and intelligence to work it out. Too many people are sheeple who will fall for it. It's out there. I don't want to, this channel's not about that, but if I can rock the boat in some small way without whistling through my fucking tooth there. See, do you hear that? That was probably a whiskey bubble escaped. Don't worry, I'll get it. It'll fucking bounce around here like one of those globules in Star Trek, The Undiscovered Country. The globules of CGI blood from the assassination be bobbing around, and I'll get it. If it's whiskey, I'll get it. Right, folks, I've had enough, and I'm fucking sure you've had enough of me. Jesus. So please, in the meantime, when it's ever like, well, officially the universe is opening up for us. Our nearest neighbour has got water, and you can tell I'm making this up as I go along in between time. Please keep it Celtic, keep it Celtic. I'm going to see you all. That's an old keyboard from Stone Age times. Yeah, I've got no idea either. But be careful, folks. You're being told things, and too many are listening to the wrong things. Put them onto the Kilt-Man channel to listen to even more wrong things. That's what it is, folks. I'm going to see you all. Later. And the day the air stood still. Really? With me stomping around like a fucking mad, drunken, kilted fucking thug?